OnePlus has always been known for delivering flagship performance at a much lower price, and that trend continues with the brand new 5T. You're getting a lot of features from phones like the iPhone X and Galaxy Note 8, except at about half the price. But the question is it worth it? Hey guys, this is Austin. I've spent the last week playing with the OnePlus 5T, and there is a lot to like. Compared to the already solid OnePlus 5, the most noticeable change is with the screen. Gone is the old 5.5-inch panel, and in its place is a much taller 6-inch screen in the exact same sized chassis. Sure, its bezels might not be as thin as something like the iPhone X, but you're still getting a lot more screen real estate with the 2:1 aspect ratio. It's a great panel too. While the resolution is a little low at 2160 by 1080, it's still plenty sharp to my eye. Unlike the Pixel 2 XL, it's actually a nice looking OLED display. It looks nice right out of the box, but you have several other screen modes, including sRGB and DCI-P3, which is my personal favorite. Because you've got the larger screen, the capacitive keys are gone, and the fingerprint sensor has been moved around back. I'm totally fine with this. Just like the Pixel, this feels like a really natural spot for it. The 5T does add facial recognition, and while it's not in the same league as the iPhone X, it's pretty quick. Although it's definitely not perfectly accurate. Unfortunately, it's still running Android 7, but Oxygen OS remains pretty close to stock Android with basically no bloatware. There's a lot of great customization options, like rearranging your on-screen buttons and what things like a long press will do, as well as tweaking the notification shade and status bar to be exactly how you like. This is a great option if you really want to tweak your phone, which is why a lot of people go with OnePlus in the first place. The rest of the design looks almost identical to the OnePlus 5, and that's not really a bad thing. You've got the same almost too slippery aluminum back with the addition of that fingerprint sensor, and amazingly for a new flagship in 2017, a headphone jack. You're also getting solid performance with a Snapdragon 835, 6 or 8 gigs of RAM, and either 64 or 128 gigabytes of storage. This is backed up with a 3300 mAh battery. While not massive, with the lower res screen and OnePlus's super fast dash charging, it makes it pretty easy to keep the phone topped off. If this feels like a classic S model update to you, then you'd be right. I can't fault OnePlus for not totally overhauling the phone. The original OnePlus 5 was really solid. The issue was that it came out only 5 months ago. Look, I'm all for pushing tech forward, but it's kind of ridiculous that a 5-month-old phone is already obsolete. Why didn't they just make the OnePlus 5T the OnePlus 5 in the first place? To be fair, I feel the same about the way that Samsung updates the Galaxy S and Note lines. 6 months later, it seems like you just get a slightly updated Galaxy S8, but at least with the Note, you're getting some major upgrades like the S Pen and dual cameras. This strategy kind of worked last year with the OnePlus 3T, but 2017 has proven to be one of the most competitive years for smartphones ever, and nothing shows that off better than the Google Pixel 2. I absolutely love this phone. Software updates have improved the XL screen, but for me, the standard Pixel 2 checks so many boxes that it's basically the gold standard. Put it side by side, and it's clear that the OnePlus 5T is a much larger phone. The smaller bezels absolutely dwarf the Pixel 2's 5-inch display, and having a headphone jack is a real win for a lot of people. The 5T still only has a single downward firing speaker, which actually does get reasonably loud and has some bass, but it just can't match the terrific stereo speakers on the Pixel. The OnePlus also lacks any kind of waterproofing or wireless charging. Now I can live without these, but knowing that the Pixel 2 isn't afraid of getting wet is a big selling point. While Oxygen OS is good as far as skins go, I can't get away from just how great Android looks and feels running on the Pixel 2. Not only has it had Android Oreo since day one, but it is blisteringly fast. I've said it before and I'll say it again. Google has worked some real magic with this phone. One area where OnePlus has really stepped it up is in the camera department. The main wide-angle shooter is unchanged, but they've swapped the telephoto option for a 20 megapixel secondary camera with the same focal length. On one hand, this is a downgrade, as you don't get optical zoom. However, they're using the second camera to improve low-light performance. It works. Side by side with the Pixel, it holds up really well with noise, although it can't quite touch the Pixel 2's incredible dynamic range. They've gone for a slightly punchier, more saturated look, which I think most people will like, but it comes at the expense of some detail, even looking a bit soft at times. You do have portrait mode on both, and while the 5T does an adequate job, I really prefer the colors and that crazy range of the Pixel. To my eye, it looks like a significantly more expensive camera. This is what 4K video looks like on the OnePlus 5T. So I think audio is actually surprisingly decent, and the stabilization, even though it's not optical, does a pretty good job of keeping up. The OnePlus 5T is a great phone. When you consider the $500 price, it's easy to reconsider that Galaxy Note 8 or Pixel 2 XL. If you can look past the screen though, I think the standard Pixel 2 is worth every penny of the $150 price premium. So what do you guys think about the OnePlus 5T? Let me know in the comments below and I will catch you in the next one.